Hello everyone, and welcome to the Brickformula review of LEGO set 10224, the Town Hall. It has 2,766 pieces for ages 14 and up, and it's from the Modular Building series, and this set retails for $199.99. And I would like to give a shout out to the Lego Lover 231, Seth Rock 1, Willie Sepp, RS Lego Looney 3, Atom Bomb 531, Les Vegan, The Mob 599, WW2 Modular, Brickformula 127, and Jawler 4549. They are the subscribers who had requested that I review this set. So everyone, check out their channels. And moving forward, here in the front we see a couple getting married, which is really nice. And that little girl's checking out that lamppost, which looks really weird. But anyway, here on the side, we have the parts, and you'll see them again towards the end of the video. And on this side, we see the furniture as standalone, which is pretty cool. They're all pretty much easy to take out. And here in the back, we see a lot of the playable features, and I'll talk about this set in more detail coming up. As always, we'll start with the minifigures, and here they are. We get 8 of them all together, and we'll start with the bride and groom because it is their big day. They're getting married. How nice! And here they are, tripping down the stairs. So it looks like he married a tall chick. There's nothing wrong with that. After all, she can beat up all of your bullies, reach for things on the top shelf. Unless, of course, you make her mad, then she'll put all your stuff on the top shelf. Then what? Are you sure you want to get married? Well, judging by his smile, I guess he does. There's a close look at his details. Nothing on the back. And what about the bride? Yep, she looks happy too. And she looks gorgeous. And she does have printing there on the back. Beautiful. I kind of wish this set came out before my wedding. This way I could use these two as my wedding cake topper. Next is the press woman, who can also be used as a photographer for the wedding because she is sporting some really heavy duty equipment. And check out this camera. It's actually made of 9 pieces, so if you guys want to make your own, here's what it looks like all around, because you can just build it just by looking at it. It's kind of funny how this thing is like half her size, which is pretty heavy for a young woman like her. And here she is up close. She has the same torso as the reporter from the Alien Mothership set, where she looks hot and single. Next we have 2 little children, and just by looking at them, I can tell the boy is the one that's the most well behaved because he's the one with the ice pop. You know what I had to do to get an ice pop when I was his age? Nothing, but my cousins had to clean their rooms, wash the car, wash the dishes, mow the lawn. You get the idea. The point is, he's the most well behaved. The girl, on the other hand, well, she looks cute, especially with the new hairdo. I think that's a new piece too. I haven't seen that before. And here's a close look at her torso. And you would think that giving her a magnifying glass would be a pretty nifty gift. That is until she starts to use it on your face and describing every little detail that she sees. Not so cute after all, huh? So no ice pop for you. Next we have the mayor and his hot secretary. And I used to think that when you work for the mayor, you should be dressed up a little more formal. And she doesn't look like she's dressed up appropriately. But I guess that's one of the perks that you get once you do the mayor some favors. She must be an intern. And here's the mayor. And you know, the last time I saw a guy wear this suit was in the Alien Conquest series, and he was abducted by aliens. So I guess this guy is next, and hopefully I won't have to see him for a second term. And finally we have the janitor, who is usually, from my experience, a Vietnam War veteran. And to think that he used to be a paratrooper, jumping out of airplanes, is just amazing. So don't underestimate this old guy, especially since he is the one that cleans up this whole building all by himself. And speaking of which, let's take a look at it now. And here is the town hall. And just like all the other modular buildings, this one is just as stunning, and there's a lot to admire with the architecture too. And here's the view of it going up and down. And up there we'll start with the bell tower, which as you can see, it doesn't really move. It's built to be stuck there. And right there we have a watchtower, and this is pretty loose, so you can always change the time if you like. And as you can see, this building was built in 1891, although truth be told, I just finished building it today But for those of you who are counting at home, it would make this building 41 years older than the Fire Brigade, which was built in 1932, and it would make it 121 years old today. And going down, you can see that we have a lot of flowers on the windowsills, and you'll notice that they're all pretty much different in each window. But if you want to make it uniform, you can, just like it is on the pet shop over there, because they do have the same amount of bricks on this side and that side, and with the bricks left over, you can work it out with the window on the 3rd floor. And the only thing I don't like about the 2nd floor is that there's no doorknob on this door, because it is a pain in the butt to close from this side, but with the bricks left over, you can definitely fix that on your own. And going down here, I especially love the way they designed this part. It looks really, really good, and it totally works. I especially love how they made the pillars too. And then down here we have a lamppost and 2 flower pots. Here's the side of the building, and down here is where you can connect to other modulars. And this building is really tall. It actually stands to about 20 inches tall, making it the tallest modular building so far. And you'll notice that right there, the roof is not exactly straight. And I think it's the way it's designed, because the bricks tend to kind of curl up a little when you put too many flat pieces together. But what can you expect? The building is, after all, 121 years old, and for the most part, that janitor did a pretty good job maintaining it. Not bad for an old fart. And here's the back side of the building, where we see a lot of windows. And down here, we have access to the elevator shaft. So if you drop anything, good luck trying to get it out, because it is a pretty small hole. And over here, we have a door to the auditorium. Now you notice at the side of the building, we have this groove, and that's what you use to operate the elevator. And basically the way it works is you just go up and down, and once you get to the 2nd floor, you just turn this knob, and that's how it stays there on the 2nd floor. And at most you can fit in 2 minifigures, and you can bring them up to the 3rd floor if you like. But that's it. It doesn't take you to the roof, but from the 3rd floor we do have a ladder that will give you the roof access that you want, and I'll show you that later on. And here's the other side of the building, which is pretty plain, just like the other side. And down there is where you can also connect to other modular buildings. And now to take a look at each floor individually. Starting with the ground floor, we have the 2 front doors, which can open up. They don't open all the way, which kind of sucks, but I guess that's alright. But the opening is only about 3 studs wide, which means that you can barely squeeze a minifigure through there. They'll mostly have to come through sideways, which is a little bit disappointing, but there's really nothing you can do about that. Now the pillars on the outside here are really neat. I really love the way they built them. And if you don't like the way they look, you can always turn them slightly, so this way it looks kind of flat on this side. Either way, I think it looks great, so it doesn't really matter to me. Now to take a look at the inside. Over here we have a room for the tax collection office, and I like how they conveniently put that right by the front door, so that you can't get lost when you come to pay your taxes. They want to make sure you find out where you can pay. And right there we have the auditorium, where we have a podium, and it looks like the mayor is giving a speech. And that's where you can also have your wedding ceremonies too. And it's pretty spacious. You can fit all 8 minifigures in there if you want. And then over on this side, we have a little statue of nothing, and there's a bench so that you can wait for the elevator, which is right there. Now the only bad thing to the 1st floor is that since I have a big hand, it's a little hard to play with the inside. So I kind of wish that they made the back panel just kind of open up. This way it's easier to play with this. And as you see this building go up and up, you'll see that it would make this a lot easier to play with if they had the whole back panel open up, especially with the elevator too, because it is a bit of a pain to play with it. But anyway, let's go on to the 2nd floor. Here's the 2nd floor, and there's the bottom of it, and you'll see that the 3rd floor is built the same way. Over here we have the mayor's office, and it's pretty clean, and you'll notice that there's really nothing on his desk, which leads me to believe that he doesn't really do anything in there. And right behind his chair he has a picture, and that's the same one that you get from the limited edition holiday set from last year. Right there we have a rug, and there's the receptionist's desk, although it looks like she's operating from a stool, and she's got a flower on there and a letter that's not open yet. Over there we got 2 buttons for the elevator, one to go up, one to go down. And right here is the railing to the balcony, and from here you can look down at the auditorium, so in case you run out of seats on the bottom floor, you can fill in the more people up here. And this will attach to the first floor, just like that. And now to go on to the next one. Here's the third floor. Here's the bottom. Now this is the conference room, and we have 7 chairs, and it looks like the big guy sits over there, or someone else who is important. Now what I really like about this room is that you get this globe here, which is really neat, and it spins too. There we have Africa, Europe, and China, and Australia. Here's the other side. I find that part a little weird. It looks like California kind of drifted off from the US. See that? Really weird. I do like how it spins though, so if you do have trouble choosing a vacation spot, just spin this baby and pick a spot. And if you land in the water, I guess you're not going anywhere this year. And there's the elevator again. And over here we have 2 plants, and that pretty much covers it for the third floor. I do find it strange that this thing also has a balcony too, because I always thought this room was supposed to be private, and all the confidential stuff happens in here. Before I attach the third floor to the building, I thought I'd just like to show you guys this angle real quick. This is why I think the whole back wall should just open up as a panel, because it would make this part a lot more interesting and more playable too. As you can see, there's barely enough room here, and here's what it looks like from the top. It's kind of dark so you can barely see, but you have a full view of the auditorium, and then it just gets darker once I put the third floor on top, which goes on right here. And there we have it. Now, if they were to open this as a panel, they should definitely include the elevator too, because as you can see, it's really hard to put a minifigure on it. What you'd have to do is bring the elevator up first, and then attach somebody, like that, and then put them back down, and then bring them back up. A bit of a pain too. And then once you get to the third floor, you stop right there. And make sure the ladder is actually up against the wall, because if this thing's out any further, it'll actually stop the elevator from coming up. But that's how you get the roof access, and we'll take a look at that now. Finally, we are now at the roof, and I really love the way they designed this part. I'll show you real soon what they did in the instruction book, because I'm not really interested in taking that apart. Actually, let's take a look at that now. As you can see, they kind of just stick that through the hole there, and who would have thought sticking a part through a hole would look so good? And that's how they achieve that effect. Really good looking, right? And while I'm here, you also notice that in the instruction book they did something that's a little new here. There's actually like a small yellow outline around the parts that are being added to that step. And then when you move on to the next step, they'll show the yellow outline on the new parts too. And in some cases, it's actually red, like it is here in book 1. And I guess it depends on the color or the angle. I don't know, it's really random the way I see it. But just want to point that out while I'm here. And now back to the rooftop. But here's what it looks like all around. Now the skylight is a pretty interesting build. Basically, it doesn't open or anything like that. These little studs just pretty much line up all around this arc. And the last one is inside that 1x2 brick with the groove, and then it's locked down by these tile pieces. And that's how these things stay secure. Although I'm pretty sure with enough force you can knock it out and rip this one a new one. And then inside the clock tower, we have a ladder, which is easier to access if you rip off the bell tower and just unclip the ladder, which looks like this. And over here we have a latch to go down your elevator, and that pretty much covers the roof. From the rooftop, you have a clear view all the way down to the auditorium, because these are pretty clear and you can pretty much see everything too. And here's an attempt to show you guys, even though the angle is pretty bad. But there you go. And now, on to the recommendations. Overall, it's a pretty good set, and I totally recommend getting it. The only complaint I hear about is the price, because $200 is pretty steep, and it is the most expensive modular set so far. And even though the value is pretty good, because we're looking at 7.2 cents a piece, I would still wait, as after all it is a new set. I would just wait until Toys R Us has it, and then I do the buy one get one half off deal with a friend, and you both can save $50 off the retail price. So if you had to get a modular set right now, I would go with the Fire Brigade, because that's the next one that I expect to be discontinued, and it should be pretty soon too. And plus that's more fun for the younger kids too. The town hall, on the other hand, it feels like it's more city council related. It's all about collecting taxes, running for mayor, giving speeches, wedding ceremonies, and maybe talking about commerce. As a kid, I don't really remember talking about those kind of things. I was mostly interested in robots and starships and blowing stuff up. So I feel that the town hall is better off for the older teenagers and adults. For the younger kids, definitely the fire brigade. And the other complaint I've heard about is that the town hall is pretty big too. So if you guys want to shorten this, you can, because all the floors are compatible with each other. And here are a few pictures to show you what you can do with it. So as you can see, it's not so bad. And if you do it this way, you can have the two floors put together over here, and it can act as a separate building because the balcony can go on the ground floor. Just rip out the railing, and there you go. You just gotta build yourself a roof, and you have yourself another building. So it's not a bad deal after all. And by now, this is the 7th modular building, so if you have them all together, you actually have like almost 6 feet worth of buildings going side by side, which will look really impressive as a display set, which is all the more reason to get it. And that's it. That sums up my review. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.